Welcome again to the Righteous Gaming Up Your Game series. This is the fourth part, documenting the video game encounters that have truly enhanced my gaming life. And maybe yours too, but I can only speak for me. During my amazing time with two of the best game machines in the early 1990s, the 8-bit NES, its chips now collecting dust and blowing into the cartridge, as my stepbrother suggested, didn't always get the game to work. And then the 16-bit Genesis, which kept us playing together as far as the early 90s, had a Player 1 controller with a malfunctioning A button. This was a common issue for our NES pad too, and the wires were coming out at the seams. We would get used pads from the pawn shop to continue playing as normal, but the same problems would come with those controllers too, as I'm sure you would guess. But just when you think that gaming wouldn't get bigger, my nephew is blessed with the next evolution in Bit Wars, the 64-bit Atari Jaguar. Atari was back again to continue the race with a console advertised as being 4 times more powerful than Genesis or SNES and 2 times more than 32-bit machines. I was curious about the Jaguar because of its legendary manufacturer, and of course its crazy bit count, which was greater than even the 32X attachment for Genesis. Never owned one, by the way. But I had already read up on the Jaguar's ratings, so I was sort of in between on the thrill. 64-bit seemed to be a false number for the dark gray and red beast, as the games we played on Atari's new machine didn't look any better than the most recent Genesis games. It wasn't evolutionary, but may have been a cross-up of 16 and 32-bit graphics. One game I remember playing on the Jaguar is Bubsy, a side-scrolling platformer where you play as an orange humanoid cat wearing a white t-shirt with a red exclamation point on it. Think Bugs Bunny with the attitude of Sonic the Hedgehog. Bubsy might have been an unofficial mascot for Jaguar, but he would not be taking the place of Mario and Sonic as a gaming icon. It's possible that he can be somewhere close to Gex, the quippy gecko that new fans might see as the same one from the Geico commercials. But actually I take that back, because Gex's character is low-key near Sonic on the cool list. Gex, and not to mention Captain Quasar, were 2 characters that drew my interest in the real 3DO. This 32-bit machine was manufactured by several television brands, so the box designs didn't all look the same. It was like the Arcadia and Atari boxes were back from the ashes, reborn, new and improved, with its software stored on CD-ROMs instead of game cartridges. Sega's 32-bit Saturn also made the jump to CD format, and even the Atari Jaguar sold an optional disc player as an attachment for its premier hardware.
Nexus was right about you. A few more steps and we're done here.
Should there be this many drones around?
Fuck! He's here! This stupid thing go any faster! God damn it! He's got us trapped! I warned you. Your persistence leaves me no choice.
This new Bit War had caught me unaware, and the most advertised 3DO model was the one from Panasonic, which just has a nice ring to it, don't you think? The power of the 3DO's CD-quality audio and realistic visuals had to have made a lot of game fans think twice before choosing the game box that they wanted to buy. I, at the time, could do nothing but dream, because the 32-bit consoles were too rich for our blood. Sega Saturn, and especially the real 3DO, kicking in at more than $700. Ouch! The Atari Jaguar would have to suffice for now. And where credit is due, there was at least one game that showed off the AJ's ability to produce realistic graphics. Surely, it wasn't on the level of the Need for Speed, but I'd be flipped if it wasn't a 64-bit presentation. Alien vs. Predator was a first-person shooter with digitized 3D graphic images of the monsters from the real-world films. It was like a cross-up of Mortal Kombat and Doom, all in one video game. Well, I'm sure my reaction was a lot more dramatic back then than it is now. I actually had nothing but a mind to think the game was bad. Partially because I never really watched the Alien or Predator films, so I really didn't understand the game's lore. And finally, because my brother convinced us that the game was bad, making it impossible to commit any effort towards playing it. At that time, games were well received just for being about movies. But honestly though, the game was laggy, graphics were paper-cut photos, and the backgrounds were dark and mazy, which could have made it 32 times more hard to play. I'd probably breeze through it today though, considering my experience with duty calls. Call of Duty, I mean. As for the controller, the button layout is similar to that of the Genesis. Buttons A, B, and C stand out from a group of smaller buttons that are arranged in the style of a digital telephone pad. These small numerical buttons will be what differentiates the Jaguar's controller from the Genesis, and seeing them made us think that the controller was better, but we really had no idea why those extra buttons were there or what they even did. Part of the fun wasn't even actually playing the game, but pressing the buttons, trying to get a reaction. But nothing special ever happened. Atari Jaguar had ideas that you could say was ahead of their time. It wasn't the better 64-bit outcome, but one that today's generation can learn a lesson from. If the system was not caught in the waves of attractive options, then maybe it would have had more support. We all like the idea of higher bit numbers, but the Atari Jaguar gave us clear credence that bits don't always matter. So ask yourself, are you playing the game how it's meant to be played? Or is the game playing you? This entry was rewritten on December 24, 2025. Have a good rest, folks, and I will see you again in part 5.